Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Olufolake. Thank you for watching. If you're a new subscriber, please turn on the notification button and subscribe as well. And if you're an old one, thank you for sticking on, thank you for staying, and thank you for the questions. I get a lot of questions, and I'm going to pick one of it. I think it's a very important question. Now, first, I'm going to be talking about provinces today, but I'm focusing more on the provinces that are much more better for international students. Well, and I will also say this as a disclaimer. Every province has its pros and cons. There is no perfect province in Canada. So you would have to decide on what works for you. For example, if I call Ontario, what comes to mind is cost of living, but it has its pros, it has its cons, but I'm not even going to mention Ontario today at all. I'm going to talk about other provinces. I'm looking at it from the angle of cost of living, from the angle of pathway, being able to convert your status, the provinces that would afford you such. So stay tuned, don't go nowhere, and I'll be right back. Welcome back. Okay, so if I wanted to group provinces, I would group Ontario first. But of course, cost of living will make people say, no, don't say that. And of course, some places are said to be crowdy, maybe like Toronto and all of that. But that's not the bone of contention yet. My own focus is going to be based on where you can get affordable tuition, where you can get easier pathway to migrate, to PR, the province with lower cost of living. That is my focus for today. The list I'm making, I'm not going to separate each province I'm going to mention to separate their pros and cons. Majorly, most of these provinces have the same pros and cons, the ones I'm listing right now. So, but I also want to bear in mind that I have not lived in these provinces. This is based on research, from questions asked from people that are living there presently, and online research as well. This is not personal experience. I do not stay in any of this province, but so far so good. They seem to tick the box on a lot of the things that international students want. So number 1 is Nova Scotia. Number 2 is New Brunswick. Number 3 is Newfoundland and Labrador. Number 4 is Manitoba. Number 5 is Saskatchewan. And I said it is not in order of how good it is. It is with regards to all of the factors I had listed earlier. Okay, now let's talk about the pros of the listed province. But before I list the pros, I forgot to add Prince Edward Island to the list of the provinces that are on this list. I said they are grouped together. So the pros, number 1, cost of living. It is relatively cheaper to live in these provinces. From the statistics, from people's experience, from conversations I've had, it is relatively cheaper. So if you're looking for a province where you can get more affordable accommodation, cheaper food, you're going to talk about these provinces. Now, mind you, on the food scale, you might be talking about the fact that you might be having issues with finding African foods, depending on where you are in each province, but that's probably going to be on the cons. So on the pros, cost of living is going to be way lower based off on your accommodation, because some areas have very expensive accommodation. There's no need to call any province right now. So number 2, you have lower tuition. So New Brunswick has as low as 6,000, so that's an example. So Saskatchewan, they all have lower tuition. So if you want lower tuition, you should be looking at the province I've listed. They are going to get lower tuition, and they have schools as well. So you're going to definitely find a course that works for you. Number 3 is immigration pathway. As a student, you're on a temporary visa. Yes, I know you have work permits. You are going to get a postgraduate work permit. Yes, but it is still termed a temporary visa. So most students, I believe, majority, are likely to switch to a PR in one of these provinces than someone in another province. As I said, this particular list, the pros and cons are together. So I've listed cost of living, tuition, and immigration pathway. So these are the pros. And then I'm going to talk about the cons right now. But I can assure you that if you look at the duration of time or whatever you need to do, you might have to think of it. The pros may outweigh the cons for you. So let's talk about the cons. Now, the cons of these provinces that grouped together is number 1, weather. They have extreme weather condition there. Generally, Canada is cold, right? But this one's, the code is actually on a higher level, higher ground, right? So yeah, they have extreme weather condition, but people are living there and they're surviving it. Number two, you might have limited choice of courses, because of course they don't have as much school as the other provinces that are busier. Then three, population might not be so much, so you might not be seeing a lot of Nigerians. But I mean, if people are migrating right now, it means that might not be an issue. Along the line, you start finding Nigerians as well. Another thing is you might not have so much things to do for fun, because maybe they would not, maybe during summer might not even be summer for them as well, right? So you might not have so much to do for fun because they are much more smaller and what to do for fun. Number five, job opportunity. So it's been complained of that a lot of these provinces don't offer people a lot of jobs, but you're going to get your PR, right? When you get your PR, if you're getting it through provincial nomination, you have to stay back in the province. But so if not, of course, you can get your PR and Piante like run away. But the point I'm trying to make is that if you get your PR, you stay back and get your citizenship. When you do that, you can decide to move elsewhere, right? So it's not as if you're stuck there forever. So that's something that I always feel like people say these things, oh, it's cold, it's this, is that. But people are staying there, people are living there, and it's just like an end to a means. So eventually when you get your citizen, your blue pally, you can then move away from there, right? And go elsewhere to where you think is not as cold as, or where you get more better job opportunity. And of course, in this time of remote jobs here and there, it might not really count. If you're having a low cost of living and you're able to save more in these provinces and you're working elsewhere when you're earning more, that means that, in the long run, it's good for you. So these are the cons. Bad weather, population might be low, little or nothing to do for fun, jobs might be on the scarce side, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that those other provinces don't offer your pathways and stuff. I'm just talking of the competition. I'm just talking of the easier route. Every province has its pathways. And with every province, if you put your immigration journey is a long journey when you get in, right? So with every province, if you plan yourself well and follow the rules, you do what you have to do, you will definitely cross your path to PR and of course to citizenship. So I'm not saying that the other provinces won't offer you that. I'm just giving you a selection of provinces that will offer you low tuition, offer you low cost of living, and still offer you the pathway, right, for permanent residence. As I always say, what works for you? That's what you should be checking out. Don't run after the crowd. What works for you in this instance? Can you manage yourself? Can you stay back in these provinces? Get what you want. As in, eyes on the ball, because as a student on a study permit, it's a temporary visa. So even though you get a postgraduate work permit after the study visa, it is still a temporary. Now for affordability, you should be looking at these provinces. If you're looking out for lower cost of living, you should be looking at these provinces. So eventually, when you get yourself sorted out, you can as well move. So now, if you have any other province that you think is okay, please don't hesitate to list them on this comment section as well. I also know at the back of my mind that there are other provinces. I know Alberta is there, it comes to mind, right? But I intentionally picked these other provinces without mentioning Alberta. It was intentional, right? Okay, so please don't forget to subscribe, to share this link, to turn on the notification button. Another video is coming up soon.